guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and this is B.fleye Beauty, and today we're going to continue our series on skincare. Now I am doing very basic info. Some of this is going to be super dumbed down. So if you know this, awesome. Spread the word to your friends. If you don't, that's also cool. I'm going to teach you. I will say that I believe in science. So you might have different views on some things, but again, we're gonna just do very basic info. Please do your own research. Please talk to your dermatologist. If you don't know what kind of skin type you have, right? Like those kind of things, you wanna be very careful because you can do damage to your skin with this stuff. Which is another reason why, like I did a video on kids doing skincare stuff, like being in Sephora and Ulta, playing with all the things. Like I have like a 50-50 split opinion on this, and part of it is 50% of my, again, I did a video on it if you want to go watch it, but I am worried about kids messing their skin up. If you're an adult, this will pertain to you, but if you're a kid, this will at least teach you some info. So let's just get into it. So I've already done a nighttime routine, a morning routine, very basic. You can always make this more bulky. You can always bulk it up. You can always make it more impactful for you. You can add things, you can switch things around. But when I give info, I want to give the most basic info because I really believe in simplicity, I believe in affordability, and I believe in like scientific research. So you don't need all the things, to be honest. If you want to spend your money on all the things and your skin can handle all the things, that's great. But this is for, number one, education purposes, and number two, to help you kind of sift through all this stuff. Like there are a lot of people on YouTube and TikTok, on Instagram, on everywhere that are telling you that you need a 17-step skincare routine. You don't. And you also don't need to spend $50, $100, $250, $300 on a moisturizer. You just don't. If you choose to do that, that is totally cool. But ingredients are very important to me. Efficacy is very important to me. Research back info is very important to me, and that's what I'm bringing to you. So today we're going to talk about just definitions of basic terms, what they are. We're going to talk about maybe what not to mix together when you're creating your routine. And then some people that you can look to, that I do research with, along with like scientific articles and such, that I can reach out to these YouTubers and these bloggers and read their information and know that it is reliable and something that I know I'm going to get something good out of when I watch it, right? I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to gain something. And it's, again, reliable information. So, basic skincare terms. What's a cleanser, right? There's literally so many different versions of cleansers right now. So we'll talk through those very basic, but it's just to remove what's on your face. So when I talked about your nighttime skincare routine, doing a double cleanse, because the first one is to break everything up, like makeup and skincare and SPF, and get that first layer off. The second one is actually cleansing the skin. Some people don't believe in a double cleanse. My Aunt Becky, speaking to you, that's okay. But I think a good test is to just take maybe a toner or a micellar water on a cotton ball when you're done and dry and finished with your washing or cleansing of the skin, and just see what's left. If you have any residue whatsoever, you need to do better on your cleansing, period. So you have a few different options of cleansers, right? You have a gel, and all of these are going to depend on what kind of skin type you have. I can't tell you what kind of skin type you have. I know what kind of skin type I have. I am very oily. I have more mature skin now that I'm about to, how old am I going to be? I'm going to be 44 in May. So I'm very oily, I am acne prone, and I have aging skin. So that determines for me what kind of products I get. So a gel or a foam would be great for me because I'm oily. If you have dry skin, you don't want that. That's gonna strip too many of the oils from your skin that you don't really have. And a dry skin person might do a cream or an oil or a balm, right? Those are way more moisturizing. So definitely look for those depending on your skin type, but those are all cleansers. There is a category that's kind of weird, and that is micellar water, which I've already mentioned. So micellar water, let me see what I got for micellar water. I have lots of notes here. So micellar water is kind of like a toner and a cleanser and a moisturizer in one. So I've had some people ask if I want to, because I said that I don't personally wash my face in the morning. I just splash it. But a micellar water or a very gentle toner could be a really lovely way to get maybe any residue, oiliness that you slept through, any skincare that's left over. It may be if you have too much moisture from the night before. A micellar water can kind of take all of that off without stripping the skin and making it super dry, and we don't want that anyway. It doesn't matter how oily you are, you don't want to strip the skin. So it can remove makeup, so you could use it as a first cleanse at night. You could use it as a toner in the morning instead of washing your face. So there's a lot of different ways to use micellar water. I actually want to pick it up again, like a really big one, because I think it would be a good morning thing for me. And it also depends on the season, right? Like summer in the South is, and in Texas, we are super humid now. We get super hot. So I might want to, in the spring and summer, actually do a wash in the morning. Well, a micellar water might be a really good way to wash the skin without stripping it. So it's a really, really awesome product because it can serve so many purposes. So some people said, well, I use that at night as a first cleanse, or I use that as a toner in the morning. Both of those work. Both of those work. I think that sometimes it doesn't get off waterproof mascara, so maybe you use something more oily there. And you do need to watch the ingredients in a micellar water. Like you don't want too much alcohol, you don't want too much fragrance, because it stays on the skin. Micellar water is not rinsed off. So watch out for that. And watch out for that and everything. Like I would say, too much fragrance, maybe in a face wash is fine, but it can actually hurt the skin barrier long term. So like people that put essential oils on their face, I do not recommend that at all. People will do it and be fine, but you might be fine for the first 2 years, then you're gonna have skin problems. So do not recommend putting essential oils on your face, especially if it's something that is going to stay, like a serum, like a moisturizer. If it's a face wash, you can probably get away with it. Okay, so moving on from cleansers, we're gonna go to toners. This typically is to kind of balance the pH. You do this after first thing you will do after you cleanse and your skin is dry and clean. It used to be like the astringent for acne people. That's the kind of toner we used to use, or witch hazel, which I have used in my super acne days. Toners now can be more moisturizing. They can have more treatments in them, like an acid toner, things like that. Like there's a lot of different toners, but if we're just learning what is a toner, it's typically the first step after you cleanse, and it could be to reduce the residue that's on the face, maybe something you missed from cleansing. It could be to prep the skin for other things, or it could be a treatment. So I would only use a toner if you want a more robust skincare routine. Again, it depends on your skin type. I do use an acid toner, either morning or night. I don't really need a moisturizing toner because I'm super oily, so I kind of stay away from them for the most part, unless it's one of my acid toners, but everyone's different. So it's really kind of to balance the skin out after you cleanse. A moisturizer is just that. It hydrates, it seals, and there's different kinds. There's different classes of moisturizers, I will say. Obviously, there's different kinds, like a gel, if you're more oily, or a cream or a balm if you're more dry, right? So that's kind of basic, but When it comes to moisturizers, there's two different things. There's hydration versus moisture. So hydration is the water content in the skin. So what are we pulling from the environment to get into the skin? And then the moisturizer is really an occlusive, which means it seals it there. So just make sure that depending on what moisturizer you use, and we'll get into this more when I talk specifically about hyaluronic acid, but you just want to make sure that you're not only using a hydrator, but you're also using something like a moisturizer to seal it in, or it's going to pull it out and make it more dry. So that's moisturizers. Moving on to serums. This is more of a treatment. So serums can be treating moisture. It can be treating brightness. It can be treating wrinkles. This is where you want to do the real work. So the cleanser is kind of setting the stage, giving you a skeleton. A toner, if you choose to use it, is kind of to balance it out. And then we treat with the serum. So that could be vitamin C. That could be hyaluronic acid for more moisture. That could be retinol, etc. So you're targeting specific concerns. Then you have exfoliators. Exfoliators, depending on the kind, again, we're going to do a whole video just on exfoliation and acids. And you have, right now, all you need to know is there's two classes. There's physical and there's chemical. Physical is if you're my age or older. It was like pumice. The apricot scrub by St. Ives, it was literally like a pumice stone. I can't believe we just did that and our skin survived. Because if you use a physical, which I do about once a week, make sure it is very, 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 very gentle so that you do not disrupt the skin barrier and cause little scrapes in your skin. Sometimes you can't even see them. So be very, very careful with physical scrubbing of the skin. That should be very gentle and probably about once a week. Then you have the chemical, which is what goes down into the pores, down into the skin. Those are like your acids like salicylic acid, alpha hydroxy acids, things like that. Again, we're going to do a whole video on that. Then you have your SPF. I do not want to get into, well, I need to get vitamin D. Well, the rest of your skin is going to get vitamin D whether you have clothes on over it or not. Like, you will get plenty of vitamin D if you put SPF on your face. I don't care if you work from home and you're inside, you need to wear SPF. I don't care if you are the darkest skin tone in all of the world, you need to use SPF, period. Just because you don't burn doesn't mean that you can't have the bad effects of the UV rays. So, what do I have here? Indicates how well a sunscreen protects against UVB rays. Daily use of broad spectrum SPF 30 minimum is essential to prevent sun damage and aging, period. Literally, period. I don't want to hear any arguments. Frickin' wear it every day, period. That is the #1 research-based ingredient to help you from aging and to keep you from dying of skin cancer. You're welcome. All right, we already talked about hydration versus moisture. You have retinol, that's vitamin A. There's a lot of different derivatives of this. We're gonna do a whole video on retinol. But what it does is it speeds up the cell turnover. So like I'm on one right now where it's supposed to fight acne and all of that, but because it turns stuff over, if I have acne coming up, it's gonna come up faster. So if you're acne prone, you might actually see quite a bit of acne in your first 3 to 6 months of using retinol. So just be aware of that. It can fade dark spots. It can be very irritating. We'll talk about more of that, but that's the only research-based ingredient at this time to fight wrinkles. So, vitamin C is an antioxidant, brightens skin, evens tone, boosts collagen. Hyaluronic acid brings moisture. It's a humectant, so it draws the moisture from the air and puts it in your skin. Niacinamide, it's actually vitamin B3, so if you see that on anything, that's the same thing as niacinamide. It can calm, so some people are actually irritated or you can feel a little sting from niacinamide. I am one of those people, so it just depends. If you feel stinging from anything, the first thing you can try is to make sure that your skin is dry and you're not putting any of the serums or toners or anything like that with niacinamide on wet skin because it can exacerbate the effects. So it depends on what it's in for me personally, but I do sometimes feel a sting from niacinamide, which is weird because it's a calming agent. It regulates oils, shrinks pores, and strengthens the skin barrier. So it's a great product, excuse me, or it's a great ingredient, but but the industry, it's like hyaluronic acid used to be in everything, and it still is, but like niacinamide is the new fancy word. So you will see it in everything. Just know that like just because it's in your foundation doesn't mean it's a good thing. Like sometimes it doesn't work in certain ways, so you got to be careful. Just because it says it doesn't mean it's going to be a good product. You know what I mean? All right, salicylic acid, BHA. That's the one that helps more acne prone people. It's oil soluble exfoliant that clears pores and treats acne, and it goes down into the pore, which is really, really good for acne. Glycolic acid is an AHA as well as lactic acid. They're water soluble exfoliants. They fade spots, brighten, etc. You have peptides. This is why I really, really love CeraVe, because it's got the peptides and the ceramides, which is really, really good for your skin barrier. So peptides, they're amino acids. They support elasticity, the collagen in your skin. It's what makes you look plump and youthful. It's kind of what drains from the skin as you get older. It's great for anti-aging. Then you have ceramides. These are lipids and fats, kind of the same thing. It's not the same thing at all, but it helps with the same thing. It helps restore the skin barrier and retaining moisture. So both of the peptides and ceramides are always really good to have in a moisturizer because of the anti-aging, the youthfulness, the plumpness, etc. All right, now there's a few things that you don't want to mix together. I will continue to talk about this when I do my individual videos of the acids, etc. But I wanted to mention them here. So some of these, you don't want to mix them together because of irritation. So it's not that it keeps the ingredient from working, right? It doesn't just like, whatever I'm trying to do here, it doesn't negate the other ingredient, but it can cause irritation. So there are different reasons why you wouldn't want to mix some of these things together. Example, retinol and vitamin C. Both are potent and can cause irritation when layered, especially on sensitive skin. I personally do vitamin C in the morning, retinol at night. We talked about this in our routines. An even more irritating one is any sort of acid and retinol together. What I do is because I don't use retinol every night, so one night I'll use retinol, another night I'll use benzoyl peroxide for my acne, and then another night I'll use an acid. So I kind of just go back and forth between the three instead of using them all in one night. Vitamin C and acids can destabilize each other. So this is one that's not just an irritant, but it can destabilize. It can also lead to redness, flaking, irritation, etc. So again, like this is less of an it does irritate, but it's more, it could destabilize. So you could be doing all this work for absolutely nothing, which we don't want happening. Niacinamide and vitamin C, my notes say this is controversial. Older research suggested they cancel each other out, which is interesting because I've seen products with both of those in there. But newer studies say it's okay for most skin. It can still be irritating for sensitive skin. Try layering with a buffer, like a hydrating serum in between, or use at different times of day. So my retinol, it's a combination of some things, and I do believe it has niacinamide in it, so I use that at night, so I don't have the problem because I use vitamin C in the morning and niacinamide at night. Benzoyl peroxide and retinol, definitely do not mix those two. Definitely do not mix those two. It can oxidize retinol, making it less effective. Benzoyl peroxide and vitamin C. It's just better to use vitamin C in the morning, and we already talked about that. Both are unstable and might neutralize each other. Again, separate times of day. BHAs and peptides. This is interesting. This one is new to me, and I want to look into this a little bit more because if my moisturizer has peptides in it and I'm using an acid at night, it says acids can break down peptides, reducing their effectiveness. So use acids at night and peptides in a separate routine or in the morning. So this one's a little new to me. I want to look at that and see like how researched that is, and like, I don't know. I just want to look into that one more because that's very new to me. combos that are super safe: niacinamide and hyaluronic acid, calming and hydrating, vitamin C and SPF. I mean, that's just a must, period, because vitamin C works better with the sun, but if you're going to be in the sun, you need to use SPF, because if not, that vitamin C that's on your skin will help get it irritated even more than just regular skin without SPF. Ceramides in anything help strengthen the skin barrier. So ceramides and acids can go together, but peptides, no. So that's very, very interesting to me. So I do have some people that I highly recommend looking to on YouTube if you have a specific question. Dr. Dray is a very interesting human. She's super honest, very transparent, a little weird. She also might have an eating disorder, but she is very, very smart and has a lot of scientific based evidence. She is literally a certified dermatologist. I like to use her now. I used to watch her quite a bit, and I just got weirded out for a little bit, had to take a break. So what I like to do is just type in Dr. Dray and then what I'm looking for. Like the last thing I looked up from her was my sebaceous something. It's the new bumps that I have all over my skin from being perimenopausal. And it's not acne. And I was like, what the heck is this? How do I get rid of it? And so I immediately went to Dr. Dray's YouTube and searched sebaceous blah 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 what I have, and she had like 2 or 3 videos on it. So highly recommend that, because she does individual videos on new products, individual videos on different skin concerns and skincare ingredients and the scientific information on it, which again, I'm a very scientific based skincare person, and so I really I put that in high regard, especially coming from YouTube, right? Because not everything on YouTube, not everything on social media is reliable, and I do feel like she is very reliable. There is someone called Gothamista. She is just someone who is a massive skincare fan. She does a lot of research. She tries a ton of products, and the way that she reviews them is really beautiful. Like, it's very easy to watch. It's a very calming video, unlike my videos. And she shows like exactly what it looks like coming out of the bottle. She shows what it looks like when she mixes it onto her skin. And I haven't watched her more recently because I get into these things with I have a very interesting personality type where I get very obsessed with something, and I will watch that thing, I will eat that thing, I will do that thing for 6 months straight. And then all of a sudden I just can't do it anymore. So I'm back to like looking into her stuff and her product recs. Also, I don't want to watch that all the time because I don't want to be influenced to buy something new when I don't need it. So she's just really, really lovely person, and again, reliable. She's not a doctor or anything, but I like watching her reviews because I feel like I can see, I get a full look at the ingredients, what it looks like, what it feels like, the price point, all of that. And she does a lot of affordable stuff too, which I really, really love. There's a lovely lady named Kenna, I forgot her last name, but I'm putting all of this down below. And she is a cosmetic chemist. Again, another doctor, and so she will review products from a chemist perspective. So another scientific based person. She's on YouTube. She's lovely. She's really cute. And she's someone I just rely on. Honestly, I feel like I can rely on her, that she's going to be honest, have integrity, and be super transparent with everything she's talking about. And then lastly, Caroline Hirons. She is controversial. I love her personality. She's a straight shooter. She doesn't give a shit what you think, and she just doesn't. She says exactly what she means. She is a licensed esthetician. So she is not a doctor, but she is licensed, and she's got, I think, close to, if not 30 years of experience. And so I like to hear what she has to say about products. You always want to make sure that you're being, and this is for anything, right? You want to make sure you're doing your due diligence to find out what is truth. Even if it's a doctor telling you, you go and you do your research, right? But make sure that your research is scientifically based, right? And not just from someone down the street like me. I've done my research, but I'm not a doctor. I'm not an esthetician. I'm not a chemist, right? I am more like Gothamista, where I just have a huge fascination. I've written blogs on ingredients. I've read tons and tons of scientific articles to make sure that I am saying what is true at the current moment, right? And not just what I think is true, because it's my experience. So experience does play into it, not downplaying that, not downplaying like how it affects your body. Like, just because a doctor says it's good doesn't mean it's going to work for you, right? Like, my doctor put me on some medicine. Within 3 days, I knew it was not right for me. I have a great relationship with my doctor. I text her. I was like, nope, give me something else, and we're good, right? So I'm not saying I'm not saying to discount your experience, but I do want to make sure that I am getting my information from a reliable source, and I recommend that you do the same. So we will have another video coming. I'm going to start getting into ingredients, what they mean, what they do, recommendations for certain products and brands that are very reliable as well. So let me know down below if there's something I missed or something you would like me to talk about, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.